GM, everyone, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Hub Farcaster Developer Focused Podcast. I'm here today again with Adrian, GM Adrian.
GM, congrats on 11.
Thank you. Here's to 11 more.
Last time we were together, I congratulated on 10, but it was actually 9. And you hit 10 when I was on vacation. And I'm realizing I think we probably didn't actually upload it everywhere to all the streams. So I'm going to get that done today if it hasn't
all
happened
good.
yet.
We'll make sure that we get the good news out to the people. I saw a couple people casting about it too, which was pretty nice. Like shout out Samuel Huber, who had some nice words. So that's definitely good. It's good to just like keep the consistency up and fun to share this news. And we have some good stuff to go over this week.
Yeah, it's good content too. I saw someone, I think Mark Fishman, asking if our bot had access to the Hub transcripts because someone had a developer question about Farcaster. So I told him not yet, but we'll get there.
That's cool. I'll have to look into that. I have a question for you about the bot as well that I can ask you later. But very cool.
Let's get into the news and we'll chat about that.
All right, let's get into the news. So one thing I saw, which is pretty cool, to be honest, I didn't know as much about this ecosystem before, but it looks pretty cool to me, is Abstract. Let's see if I can find it on X, because I think that's where they did the launch, actually. It might just be a little bit easier. But essentially, Abstract, they are a EVM L2, I think. They launched this thing called the Global Wallet. It essentially, you sign in with your email. There is an embedded or server, some sort of backend wallet created, and then an entire ecosystem of apps that can use that same wallet. Which I guess the comparison for Farcaster would be that Frames can use this same wallet that you're already authenticated into in the client. But the difference here is that this is an entirely new wallet that's created for you. You're just logging in with your email, at least from what it seems. And it does seem like there's more to this, and I'm kind of just glossing over the high level details. But it did look pretty clean from the launch, and it does seem like they're aiming for a more consumer launch that meets more people.
Breaking news. So you haven't done a code review. You haven't done a code review on what's actually happening in the back end, I guess.
I have not done a code review yet. I saw a little bit of the launch. I saw this thread from the Privy team, who I think they're working with, or yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, because Privy's obviously done a lot with embedded wallets and helping make, I think, crypto just way more accessible to consumers. So my first thought when I saw Abstract announcement was this a Privy competitor? But sounds like Abstract's doing more of the front end and Privy's on the back end. I actually haven't read this thread yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it seems like here. Like it just says Abstract's global wallet is built with Privy. Users onboard once, fund their wallets, and then carry assets and identity across apps. So yeah, like that does say like protected with Privy. So you'd have some sort of login and then approve. And then the app can kind of just use that wallet. So it's like a global wallet powered by Privy, it seems, for their entire app ecosystem.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. I definitely need to check that out more.
How many embedded wallets do you think you have?
Oh man, I don't know. Like at least 10.
Yeah. Do you keep track of them?
Not at all. Not with the smart wallets as well. There's just too many. But I try and not. Yeah, I try and not keep straggling assets. You know.
Yes, but it's like and you know what? And now am I getting confused between smart wallet and embedded wallet? Are they the same?
I think embedded wallet is like the app creates a wallet for you, and then smart wallet is like the Coinbase products. I think other people can make smart wallets. I think it's just built like a AA wallet, essentially. Maybe there's probably a little bit more to that, but yeah.
I should know this better, but I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, and I don't remember. And clearly, it's not immediately accessible to my brain.
We're still in very early stages. Like, I think it's just going to move to a world where like you have wallets that are created on some sort of backend, and then you have like issuers for those wallets and passkeys to access the wallets, but
Mhm.
all this embedded, like everything seems like it's getting a lot more seamlessly connected together.
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, I like the embedded wallets because I like the almost like the safety and partitioning of things. On the other hand, I hate it because then you have assets and, um, kind of the assets you own dispersed everywhere, and I don't have like the single view into um, kind of the crypto assets I have, let's say. But it's interesting. I'm happy. I'll be excited to see. And I guess I don't know that much. They're specifically talking about abstract apps, and I'm not sure we know what all of those are yet, right?
Yeah,
What it means
exactly.
to be an abstract app, but generally, when I see Privy involved in something, I think it's usually a legit good project and
Yeah,
consumer focused.
no, for sure. And the design look nice, and definitely agree with that sentiment. Cool. Well, one personal shill, I'm not going to give too much information yet, but hopefully some of you responded to my poll if you are interested in hacking at FarHack this year. Yeah, not much other information I'm really going to share right now, but definitely reply to the poll if you haven't. I'm not sure if it's still open. Oh, I guess poll ended right there, but hopefully a lot of you did reply to it. We'll have more info soon, some more ways to engage, and get ready to hack. I'm sure the meta is going to change 30 times between now and when something happens.
I'm excited. Dylan, how old were you when you went to your first hackathon?
Um, so I mean, there was like one at my school when I was 13 or so, but it was more like a coding expose. First like real hackathon, maybe like 18.
What advice do you have for people who have never hacked but might be interested and they don't know if they should join a hackathon?
Well, I think like the one thing is lead with like if you can have the enthusiasm and understanding of like some part of the idea or some sort of value add, then you can stand out because you never know. Like in these hackathons, there might be someone who's the engineer who's like the back end whiz kid, but then when it comes to presenting the project, he can't get a sentence out or he can't do the front end or whatever. So like there's all these different ways that you're gonna find value add, and especially if you're like enthusiastic and can understand it, and like that just goes for stuff in general. And then also now with AI, there's so much that you can make on the fly that you can learn in a couple days and then be confident going into a hackathon. Like the landscape has just changed so much, so take advantage of it. Like there are even I saw like Vercel now, they even do these like 2-hour hackathons where people from all different skill levels go, and people are making really cool apps in 2 hours, and they're like powering with NVIDIA for the hackathon. So I think it all goes to show like how much is possible today.
That's incredible. I remember I used to work somewhere where it would take 2 days for like a new developer to build the app on their machine. Like
Oh,
get
that's
all the
crazy.
get all the dependencies, set it up, like actually install the requirements and like have it running locally so that they could write one line of code.
Oh. Well, I will say in a lot of cases, builds and all that stuff can still be quite annoying in coding, but obviously it's gotten a lot better. And when you're stuck, you just throw it in ChatGPT or DeepSeek or
You guys, yeah, the kids have no idea these days. It's so much easier to
yeah, it's
deploy.
crazy. It's crazy. Have you been using DeepSeek, by the way?
No, have you?
I have a little bit. I need to. I want to use it a little bit more on Perplexity, so I make sure I'm using a US hosted version of it. So
Hmm.
just to like for the data. Like I think as a quick aside, it's so funny. Like people are so up in arms about having TikTok on the App Store, and now we have DeepSeek as the #1 app on the US App Store. Um, but that's a whole other convo. But yeah, I mean, it shook up a lot of the markets yesterday. The reasoning behind it, I think, is actually really good and fast. So it's cool. And the fact that they did it for like $5 million in 2 months, it's kind of crazy.
Amazing. Yeah. I heard that Ben Thompson's Stratechery has like an excellent write-up, and
Oh,
it's on my list of things I want to read this week.
I'll have to check that out. But yeah,
So
I
I
think
love recommending things I haven't read or done. That's kind of my classic
that's
go-to.
good.
But I've
No,
heard it's
he's a
good.
good good
Yeah,
source.
I've heard it from someone I respect, and he's pretty good all the time. So
All right, nice.
I will check that
We'll
out.
trust that. Awesome.
And I guess the DeepSeek, like on the App Store, that is one that they've put out, and that's the one that's kind of the servers hosted in as in the People's Republic of China. Is that right? And then, but the open source model, there's going to be kind of wrappers on top that are people like hosting the elsewhere the open source code.
Yeah, so
Is that what
either
people
you
have the
can
choice of?
Yeah, so either you can run it on your machine, like there's this really good app called Olama, and it's like an easy way for you to download AI models, whether it's like Llama, etc. And it already works with DeepSeek. And there's like a bunch of different weights, like sizes of the DeepSeek model, like 1 billion parameters, 6, 7, all the way up to like 100 billion. So you could even like choose a small one and run it on a small MacBook Pro or MacBook Air. But so that's one option. And then there's a bunch of like chat apps now where you can just like paste in the local URL of your AI and just like talk with it. But then the second is there's a bunch of, since it's open source, there's a bunch of like US based providers that host it. So like Perplexity, for example, they host DeepSeek R1 on US servers. There's a company called Fireworks, which is like an AI provider. They host it. Vercel offers it to pro members on their SDK playground. And if you really wanted to, you could run it on like AWS, but it's probably not the most like economically viable option. Oh, you know what runs it as well is Venice AI, thing that run.
Oh, I haven't heard of Venice AI. Just kidding. It was all over my feed yesterday, and you'll never guess why.
Yeah. No, that one's interesting. That's one I was going to add to the list, but I'm like, I don't know much about the token stuff other than that they maybe like whitelisted certain Farcaster base adjacent communities. Coinbase is trying to get faster with their listing process, and they're like already listing the token. You can pay with crypto. It's obviously Eric Voorhees. The site it's okay. Like it's nothing crazy. Let's see. Chat.venice.
If you're a Farcaster user and you want to check if you're eligible for the airdrop, I did see it's 45 days from yesterday. So if you didn't do it in the first 12 hours, don't panic.
Good to know. I haven't checked it out either. So,
and I'm curious. I know some people have gotten it and others not. So I don't know what the algorithm or logic was, but you got to connect and find out.
We'll have to see. One other small little like personal call out I wanted to make was there's a cool event I went to last week at South Park Commons in New York. South Park Commons, they're like a incubator group. Probably not the best way to describe it, but they run different programs where they invest in your company for different equity. And then it's an entire network of founders. They run like really big events with big founders. They have a space here and an SF. And like more out of crypto, I've been really into like what AI is going to mean for our interfaces, especially like what first got me into crypto was like, what is the next like browser or desktop going to look like, especially now like we just do everything in the browser. So with all these AI enhanced tools, like is your operating system just going to have AI and the web like baked in, and then what are the interfaces going to look like on top of that? And this event had a lot of really cool demos along those lines. There was one that was a Chrome extension that let you make any sort of interface you want on top of any app, like pull in housing information and make me a personal dashboard, or like a Windows 95 like game to explore different rental options in New York. Create a little timer button on my Google Meet to like see how much time I have left in a meeting. A lot of like different interface stuff, like people trying to like program like different ways to use their own data. And yeah, just like really forward thinking and good like inspiration. And also when I think about that sort of stuff, I feel like once you get the interaction models down, then it can expand to a lot of other tools like crypto. And once you start to build systems that have crypto primitives under the hood, it just like benefits in so many different ways. Like one thing I saw at the demo was there's this company, WHOP, WHOP, and they're actually a really cool company. It's basically like Patreons, but for different communities you can sell stuff to, like sell software, etc. And they've processed like hundreds of millions of transactions. And the guy was trying to show, hey, like we have these groups and they have group chats, and you can like pay people in the group chat without them having an account first. And he was sending people money. He was sending like $200 at a time, but he was doing it on Stripe, and it said $200 plus $7 processing fee. And I was like, oh boy, like if we add USDC on base, that's like less than 1 cent processing fee. So just like small example there, but it was a fun fun event to go to.
That sounds cool. And on, and on the processing fees, it's when there's no competition, people can charge whatever they want. And
Yeah.
and they will. Like, so I think it's like it. Kristen's upset we're not showing Farcaster because
Sorry,
this is a Farcaster dev podcast.
My bad. We're
Thanks
getting some extra context.
Thanks for keeping us honest.
Yes, thank you. We're very principled here at the Hub GM Farcaster Network. All right, let's see what's next on the docket. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is there seems to be a moment happening for like consumer mobile Solana right now, and also SocialFi. If you hadn't seen, like Yapster is probably one of the best examples. It's actually a really fun game, and maybe I think I showed this last week actually. Like people like Kartik Slok like making a bunch of money off of these games, and it's really well designed. The principle is that people compete to make memes, and maybe those memes are tokens or tickers, or at least that's how it looks in the app. And then people have different votes they distribute, and if you win or if you get one of the top couple, like in the top 3, then the prize pool is distributed among the winners, and there's a buy-in, which is what creates the prize pool. And it's been so popular that too many people like can't get into the game. They have to close it. It crashed over the weekend. Like the servers were down. A lot of like big people are talking about it online. And then, yeah, the design is really good. This app in particular, embedded wallets, it uses iOS live activity. Like, how sometimes you might call an Uber, you get the little notification, so they can do that and show you like our game is starting in 30 minutes. Native, I think iOS first app. So really great to see like bringing cool mechanics together and doing it in a way that doesn't seem just focused on a crypto niche, like something that's using all these crypto primitives to build something that a lot of different people can use. I think some of these games might be a little cornered in the future, and there may be other ways to expand and like use the same idea of glossifying crypto primitives and then getting them out to a larger user base. But with all that being said, it's certainly been a moment that a lot of people are talking about. It's a lot of fun. It's made me like create a phantom wallet and go explore stuff on Solana and want to get in on it a little bit. So like, well done to people who are building there. And I think it's healthy on Ethereum that we can appreciate what's going on in other ecosystems, not to like bash other ecosystems too much, but I think a lot of them, even if it's like other social platforms on Ethereum, a lot of them like to dunk on Farcaster or Ethereum unnecessarily. And I think it's good, whatever for them, but it's at least good for us that we can like appreciate other things going on in other ecosystems.
Totally. It's silly to be tribal about anything, and it's like important. I think we have to not attach our egos to any of the tools we use. It's great to try other ecosystems too and see what you can learn what sort of things you can bring over to what you're building. I mean, I think the tribalism is silly.
Yeah, no, very much so agreed.
And
Missed the
also to
Yapster
anyone
boat.
who's worried about missing the Yapster boat, I'm pretty sure it's still docked at the pier. Like,
yeah, I think they're literally in beta, and it's just getting this much attention, and they've maybe had like 5 to 10 games so far. So I echo the sentiment because I've been trying to get into the games, and I even this is, I mean, shows how well they've built retention mechanisms. I set a reminder on my phone to try and get in because I saw Salvino tweet something being like, at X time we're gonna reopen the game. And so I was like, I gotta use that alpha. And I still missed, like, I got in at that time and the slots were gone within 20 seconds while I was like entering the fields to enter the game. So tough, but good sign that people would set a reminder to want to get into your game. I don't think someone's messaged me saying I set a reminder to use your app.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is tribe.run from Bill. So Bill made a Burra. The design for tribe.run is really sick. It's like all Windows 95. And it's kind of like a friend tech group chat on a bonding curve mechanism, except there's also the live streaming aspect of a Burra built in. And there's a lot of big crypto Twitter people on it, like Imran, Frank, FaZe Banks, Mert, Red Guy, like all these different people. So it's like a little bit of a different sector. But people are saying really great things about this too. The design looks well done. It's another embedded wallet situation. And yeah, I'll have to look into it. But seeing good things, and really interesting that Bill seems to be like staying in a very similar space and learning different lessons with the same like core tech and maybe principles, and just trying to like evolve along the way. So that's cool to see.
Very cool.
Nice. All right, so that's our little Solana section for today. The other thing here from Jason is it looks like there is going to be a pre-sale and launch of Moxie AI agents. The thing that caught my eye, I guess I can't find it right now. Here we go. Something about making a marketplace for tokenizing ELIZA plugins. I think, and for those of you who don't know, ELIZA is like this AI agent framework that AI16Z famously uses. I think that is neat, like tokenizing that sort of stuff. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure like what the main point of the agent is supposed to be doing. Like, is it buying my fan token overnight? Is it just helping me buy it instead of me going to the wallet? But it does seem like they've been working on this for a while. And as Jason alludes to in the thread, Airstack and Moxie have had some AI infra for a good bit. I remember at least like 2 years ago at this point, they launched their GraphQL dashboard, and they had a little AI section where you could type in a little query and it will be like, get me all of Adrian's NFTs and casts and whatever.
I remember that.
Yes. Yeah. So
like do they have natural language search for Farcaster stuff?
they did. I don't know if they have all of it anymore, but I think Jason was trying to highlight it to say like that they've had some of this infra for a while and that can help them with this. So yeah, I mean, Jason's a great builder, so I'm curious to see. And Jason, if you ever want to come on and talk about it, it's a good show to do so. All right, that is the Moxie update. One other thing, this was kind of just like a thought of mine, was I think a lot of really great apps are getting better at like connecting Farcaster with what you're doing on chain. But I'm curious if people are thinking about like what the surrounding layers are. Like for me, for example, like let's just talk about like a token. When I'm trying to see if I should like buy a certain token, again, like not financial advice, just like walking through a process, I would want to see, are people around me talking about it? Are they talking about it on other platforms? Are there big whales or pump and dumps or big liquidity providers that would make me bullish or bearish on getting into the market? But if I
Dylan, can you summarize what you casted or read your cast for people who don't see the
sure.
screen?
Yeah, I'll read it really quickly. So it says
Okay.
like Farcaster based on-chain apps are getting a lot better, but there's still some cases where I want to more easily see what's happening related to a token. Curious if anyone's building for this problem. A couple things I think could be in the solution are like combining multiple platforms for references. X I think is a big one because there's just like much more volume of stuff going on. Filtering by your friends. Apps like Friends and Interface are good at this, especially because it's a group chat. So there's extra alpha of someone who's in the know, maybe just messaging you. Summaries of large transactions or overall context, like, hey, there's a scammer, there's a big LP, so the market's going to stay stable for a while. There's a pump and dump, or any other signals that would make me, likely to buy and sell a particular token. I don't really know what that amounts to, but I think it's that there's like this extra context, and sometimes you can like pry it out of people or get an answer in a group chat, but all of that data is available. And I don't necessarily think that you have to be like a pro token watcher or trader to want that information. So I just kind of threw it out there to be curious if other people were building on it. But I also wondered like if that's just some other people's process anyways, whether they're building for that or not. I didn't get much response, but maybe people see it from this.
What do you think of the new ticker search on Farcaster?
I think it's good, but I think the Farcaster cast search that accompanies it isn't that great. And it doesn't actually surface, like, if you just take search from meaning type in a term like on-chain apps and then show me all of the casts where the phrase on-chain apps show up, I don't think it fully does even that. Like, it's like showing every single literal reference. I think in that case is a little more helpful. Like what I do, what's great about X is how fast real-time search is. I can type in a ticker and then go to latest and see tweets coming in 20 seconds ago, 40 seconds ago, a minute, like see hundreds of them. And I don't really care about seeing the deck screener as much. I would care if there's a little more information there on the pill part.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right that the information that you're looking for is probably it's out there and it's in multiple places. Like you said, Friends, Interface, Farcaster, buoy search, and if you wanted to do the work, but there's not really an easy way to kind of see big picture what you want.
Yeah. So I wonder, is that an interface thing where you want like different like kind of like where you want different tabs of like the different platforms, or is this an AI thing where you want the AI to summarize it for you? But I do think there is some sort of opportunity here. So / someone build this. All right, let's get to the next two. The other one I would be remiss if we didn't go over is the OpenAI agents and operators demo. And I know there's been some more AI talk, and a lot of this is supposed to be just Farcaster related. But we didn't have a dev call last week. We'll have one Thursday. And I think a lot of people on Farcaster are using AI, or they're building agents. And this one in particular is pretty Farcaster related. Like I saw Horsefax using it. So if you didn't see the demo, essentially OpenAI launched this tool called Operator. Operator is a version of their AI model that can use a headless browser, basically like a virtual computer running something like Linux that has a version of Google Chrome open, and then OpenAI can give it a prompt like look for the reserve button. And then it can parse through all the HTML, find the element with the reserve, click it. Like a lot of that browserless automation would happen behind the scenes. But in this case, the AI is like on the fly choosing which elements. So some examples here are like reserve a table for me at 8 p.m., find the most affordable passes. And then one Farcaster one, which was slightly slow, but worked on the first try, and Horsefax did, is interacting or either interacting with a V2 frame or casting. I forget which one, but Horsefax was able to make it work directly. I really hope I can find it with a Farcaster account. I think this is it. But yeah, the prompt here says log into warpcast.com and post a YouTube video of hello operator. And there were a couple stumbles in terms of the browser being blocked by a couple of websites. Like it had to go to Bing to find the YouTube video that Horsefax wanted, but he was able to work through roadblocks. So like, for example, it got to this login with email and he said, oh, can you log in with phone instead? And then he was able to scan the QR code and log in with the second hello operator account. And then it was able to do the rest. And here's the hello operator account, casting it out, which again, I know it's a little bit slower, but the fact that it can already do that on the first iteration with all of these kinks still in the system is really cool. And I think just like shows that for people who are already building agents, I think they're going to continue to like want to double down on that. And for people who want to hack on this already, there is already an open source version of this called Open Operator. There is this company I've been following for a while, which is really cool, called BrowserBase. And they basically offer headless browsers like the one you just saw, tailored for AI agents. So doing things like scraping, interacting with websites. And literally within one day of Operator being announced, they built their own open source version called Open Operator. So we can say, like, did the Celtics win last night? And in real time, it's going to open the browser. It'll navigate. It'll determine which website it can go to. And this repo you're seeing, you can entirely clone, paste in your API key, and like modify it entirely how you want. Which is already pretty crazy that it's out in a day. So you could even see if this helps you with your GM Farcaster bot or just with asking questions or
this
who
is
knows.
Really cool.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I can definitely link this in the show notes. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So it already completed the task. It said right here, the Celtics did not win, indicates that the Celtics lost their game last night, which is unfortunate, but got the answer.
Sorry, Boston fans. How about if the Celtics won last night? If the Celtics won last night, go book me some tickets for the next time they are playing the Knicks at the Garden.
Oh, book me tickets for the next time the Celtics play the Knicks at MSG. Let's see. We'll give it a little bit. Ticketmaster is a well-known platform for purchasing tickets. It would be a direct and reliable source. I like that it has the reasoning. Oh, okay. So you see a lot of these sites, your browsing activity has been paused.
Yeah.
Starting to block the agents. All right, we can go to that later. But yeah, really cool. You should check out both of these. And then, yeah, you can fully just fork this repo. We'll link it in the show notes. So you should check it out.
Here's an example. Someone gave it information asking it to create a meme, and it opened image flip and created a meme.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to get so much faster, so much better. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, the last big one that we have for today is, I'm sure, the short scene around the crypto Twitter universe. Sure, a lot of you have seen this short from Jesse about getting people on chain, which I do think is like very like it's good to have this sort of content to actually bring people in on the streets to show, hey, we're doing all these different wide-ranging initiatives to get people in. And for those who don't know, the burner card, which I actually happen to have one right here, but the burner card that he's giving out is really cool. It basically, let me see if I have an open one. It basically looks like a mini like credit card. It is an NFC Ethereum wallet, which what I wish it was is I wish it was a disposable like credit card that used USDC. I think there are a couple companies starting to do that now. That would be even more powerful. Like what if I just loaded it with USDC and I said, hey, at the same time, you can use this to buy your groceries and you can also buy meme coins or whatever. Like that is where it's getting to. But even just this, like the onboarding for this is really slick. You're able to preload it, so you can just hand someone the card and then they're tapping it and it has a little like website for it and everything. But it got a lot of traction just because it was like Jesse trying to do something new. And a lot of people were like, hey, like you have to describe it different, which I really hope they're not trying to dunk on Jesse, because he's just like, if anyone, he's done so much to try and help, and he's just continuing to try and help and spread the message. But I do think it opened up like really healthy conversations about how we can say this to people, because I think what he said in the video is like, hey, excuse me, like, do you want to get on chain? Like, we have this magic internet money. And so I think people are just thinking like, well, what are the different ways to say it? Because you certainly don't want to say this, sit there and say, well, there's this blockchain money and it's on a layer 2 and that's Ethereum. But you want to find it in between, because you don't also want to just say, here's $50 cash, because if it's USDC, it has that same equivalency, but it's certainly not. So you want it in between, where the end result is that the person on the street groks it to enough of an extent. You know?
Did you happen to see Afrochix's video that she did?
So that's what I was going to show as well. As Afrochix's video was great.
And yeah, we're not going to get, I don't think the sound's not coming through.
Oh,
but we can. We'll link it.
Check.
But basically, I mean, she's going up to people, right? And by the way, anyone walks up to me and asks me a question on the street, they're getting the hand and I'm walking away. Like, I don't.
Yeah, happened to me yesterday. It's almost like 2 minutes of your time. Or just
No, I don't have a second for anyone on the street. But the way she did it, she's literally handing, like she has cash in her hand, right? So it was like 10 pounds or mystery gift. And some people took the 10 pounds, but the mystery gift, it's like, oh, that's fun. Like and that got people's interest. Like, oh, it's a little game. And then, so people opened the mystery gift and it was some crypto. And she's like, here's it. And it wasn't, do you want to get on chain? It's here's also 50 pounds worth of crypto. And let me show you how to get it out. Then she followed up with an offer to like, hey, by the way, like if you need help as you're doing it, email me. Like she's really kind of educating as well. She did a fantastic job with her video, I thought.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we're getting closer and closer to some sort of moment where there's going to be like a lot more people understand meme coins, but I think the larger unlock is when people get like this just like this global economy. I think is the main thing, like this global decentralized, always open, permissionless economy.
Yeah.
My
feeling also with crypto is, it's like, obviously I hang out with a lot of people across different generations, and it's just the younger you are, the more likely you are to hold crypto, even right. And you know what it is, you hold it. So even if you're not like super passionate, you may have, what it is, you're more open to it. You have something, maybe a Coinbase account, and you're more digital. So it's, I guess I'm not really wanting to say it's inevitable without us doing work to bring people on, but it feels like it's going in that way.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Do all of your friends have crypto, Dylan?
Some of them have tried. Most of them just like ask and then like don't follow up on it. But especially over the past couple of months with the boom and everything after the election, a lot more of them are like getting more interested in it as like happens particular cycles.
Yeah. I mean, I think also a lot of people will maybe own crypto as like an investment. Own, like, it's kind of like you buy it and hold it. I think the Stripes of the world, like your Apple wallets, your like any of the big payment processors will just have crypto under the hood and people will never know.
Yeah.
And
I think what's been, yeah, no, I'm sure it will. Yeah. I think what's been harder for me is getting my friends onto Farcaster. Like there's a couple, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to start new on any network, but there's a couple in particular who are like earnestly more excited about crypto and are looking for trustworthy ways to engage with people or learn more. And I'm trying to be like, well, like Farcaster is the great place for it. I don't know. I guess some of it is like you need that personal motivation or push to do it on any platform, but like it's all still tough. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're in a good place though. Like I'm still optimistic about everything. Crypto's in a good place where so much has happened now in the past year, now in the past 6 months, 3 months. And Farcaster, I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. Like, V1 frames literally just came out a year ago. And before then, I think people were like, what's going on with Farcaster?
That's right.
Yeah.
And Dan's been Farcaster bull posting.
Yes, which I really like. And they've been great posts. Like he's using what he knows about the Twitter algo to like max what he's posting, and he knows like what he's engagement farming. He's good at it. People are like, Farcaster intern is good.
People have been farming Farcaster. He studies. He knows what he's doing.
Exactly, the good old switcheroo. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us here for the 11th episode. Thank you again, Adrian, for joining me here. So much fun to go over everything, and we will see you again next Tuesday for the 12th episode of The Hub. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you.